Hey everyone, welcome back to US Mint News and Reviews for September 2nd, 2023. Let's get to it. Over here, we're at the bullion sales page for the United States Mint for September 2nd. We have no new tale to tell for September whatsoever, but we are looking forward to that so that we can bring that premium down below $5. But it's at $8.39 right now, and they're going to pay you $25.85 for each one. Isn't that something? Now, this is the composition of the United States coins, all right? It says the penny has had its current composition since only 1982. Prior to this, it was mainly composed of copper. The modern composition is less expensive to manufacture, but it still costs an estimated 1.8 cents per penny, and I think it's almost 2 cents or more now. And there's only 2.5% copper on that. The rest is zinc. That's why it's a zinc cent from 1982. Now, look at the nickel. It's not really nickel, it's copper. They shouldn't call it the nickel. They should call it the copper. Well, because it's 75% copper. A nickel costs an estimated 9.4 cents to mint. Its composition has remained constant over time, except during World War II when they added silver. Nickel was an important war metal, so it was removed during the war in favor of silver manganese copper alloy. There it is. That's the answer. And let's see here. This is the dime, quarter, and half dollar. Until 1965, dimes, quarters, and half dollars were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. Then the dime, the quarter adopted today's composition, and the half dollar dropped its silver content to 40%. And then in 1971, the half dollar changed its current composition. There you go, to 91% copper and 8.3% nickel. Now check this out. These are the manganese dollars, and really they're mostly copper, all right? The U.S. Mint made early dollar coins from about 90% silver and 10% copper, but in 2013, the original dollars minted in 1794 sold for $10 million in auctions. Some dollar coins produced between 1849 and 1899 contain 90% gold, and bullion dollar coins are still struck in silver and gold. There it is. Now, why is this important? Well, check this out. Copper is going to be, well, we already know the European Union considered copper and nickel part of its strategic metals, and it looks like the United States has finally done that as well. So this is a really big deal, and it gets more interesting from here. So check it out. So people are stealing thousands of dollars worth of copper wire aluminum. Remember this happened back in the late 2000, like what, 7, 8, 9? Copper supply is a serious problem, and everyone involved in clean energy needs to listen. This is back in March 26th, and that's actually a relevant date that we need to think about, because really, the next story is going to probably make you go, what? Because I was like, what? Yeah, here we go. Redwood Materials raises $1 billion to expand U.S. battery supply. That was 3 days ago. So they are really ramping it up. All right. Copper County. Here we go. Miners face considerable challenges meeting demand from U.S. climate law study. That's 2 weeks ago. Copper thefts impacting Austin Energy Service, amplifying supply chain challenges. Copper theft is on the rise in Austin, with more than 20 major thefts from customer-owned energy service equipment in the first 6 months. Here we go. Codelco woes mount with potential rating cut by Moody's from mining.com, the world's largest copper producer. Yikes, right? Copper pressing technologies. Here we go. U.S. Department of Energy adds copper to critical materials assessment for 2023 to evaluate supply chain security for clean energy. Wow. Yeah. So copper should be in the news way more than it is, but really, I'm not sure why, but that's all right. That's why we're here, to give you the lowdown. Now, this is financialtimes.com, ft.com. It says this is a big deal. Remember the Trafigura one with all the fake nickel? Well, now you got to see this. It's unbelievable. This is Europe's biggest copper producer. It says it's been the victim of huge theft. Now it's called Arubis probes suspected conspiracy between suppliers and employees. Look at all that copper. Probably worth millions of dollars. Here we go. Let's keep on keeping on. Europe's biggest copper producer, Arubis, is investigating suspected conspiracy between suppliers and employees after revealing that metals worth hundreds of millions of euros were missing from its inventories. What? Yeah, bummer in the summer. Shares in the company dropped as much as 17% on Friday morning in Frankfurt after its late Thursday warning that it would miss its full-year profit target following the discovery of criminal activity. And that's in quotations, folks. That could result in a low 3-digit million euro range. Wait, what? A low 3-digit million euro range hit. Ay, ay, ay. Arubis said Wednesday a company-wide investigation looking into whether suppliers had worked with employees to manipulate logs of scrap metal at its recycling business was scheduled to conclude by the end of September, and that the police were involved. It's amazing what's happening here in this industry. And I imagine these suppliers and the people taking the delivery of these supplies like nickel and copper are probably going to be a lot more hesitant, or at least look into what metals they're getting here. It says it's hard to give concrete information before the investigation concludes, a spokesperson told the Financial Times, adding that the given volumes involved, the alleged theft was likely to include metal-bearing materials such as scrap electronics and other precious metals. The Hamburg-based company, which made 18.5 billion euros, I believe, in revenues last year, is Europe's largest copper smelting and recycling group, with processing sites across the region, including a large complex in the south of its home city. That's in Hamburg. And people from Hamburg are called hamburgers. That's right. Arubis does not mine it or itself, but has carved a business out of smelting metal concentrates, scrap metals, and metal-bearing recycling materials from mining and electronic companies. Its website states that source metal concentrates from over 30 mining partners and a few traders. So listen, where did that copper go? Who ended up taking it, right? That's amazing. This is really not good news for the industry. Nobody's going to end up trusting anybody. Trust but verify. I think that's what they say. The company was raided by the police in June in an investigation related to missing goods worth 20 million euros that resulted in the arrest of 6 people, some of whom were employed by the company. Inside job. Arubis said 2 cases were not believed to be related. The public prosecutor in Hamburg said it was proceeding with its case against 12 defendants related to the extensive searches that took place in June. The scandal is the latest to rock the metals industry, raising questions about its adherence to compliance, oversight, and security protocols to limit the prevalence of fraud and theft. Yep, this year has seen some major issues coming out, and actually, some of these actually happened last year, right? That's amazing. It's who can you trust, right? I mean, these are companies doing it to each other, not just somebody on the street. Hey, you want to buy a watch? A global commodity trading group, Trafigura, this year accused a trader of masterminding a 590 million nickel fraud. That's amazing. That's a lot of money. Nickel fraud, and while a separate scandal, bags of nickel in London metal exchange warehouses were found to have been packed full of stones instead. Yeah, remember that? That's brutal. There's so much scandal in this industry. It's ridiculous. And what does that mean for the United States Mint? What are they? I mean, I'm sure the United States Mint gets their copper and nickel from a trusted source, right? But how deep does this go, and how wide does it go? That's amazing. The industry's reputation has also been tainted by a string of frauds and thefts in China in recent years. The company said that in June raid that it started implementing additional security measures, including more random checks and tighter controls at gates where lorries enter and leave with metals. So now they have to ramp it up, because somebody did something. And so they're actually looking at the vehicles that are coming and going, because maybe they could be the ones taking it, I guess. Now, it said the company said on Thursday that it would miss its previous guidance of 450 million to 550 million euros in pre-tax earnings for 2023 financial year because of the alleged theft. That's a lot of money, folks. That is a ridiculous amount of money. It added that it would be able to absorb the losses, that's amazing, which would not affect its capital expenditure or growth plans. I imagine they could have insurance to cover that, couldn't they? Or is there no insurance to cover that kind of theft? German steelmaker Salzgitter, which owns 30% of Arubis, on Thursday also suspended full-year guidance, saying it would give shareholders further information once the copper producer concluded its investigation and given more details on the scale of the theft. What is up? What's up with that? That's amazing, folks. And like I said, copper's a big deal at the United States mints, and so is nickel. So we've had problems with nickel, we've had problems with copper, and how could this affect the United States mints and the suppliers for those particular metals? Isn't that something? Now let's go to the plus ones. Bam! Now this is the very first proverb. All right, it's Proverb 1 through 6. And it's not that hard to wrap our head around this. I thought it was pretty amazing, so I wanted to share it. Now, Proverbs, basically, I think, is just a guidebook to everybody, no matter who you are, what status you have, and what station you might occupy. This is 1 through 6, the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. In order to make known words of wisdom and discipline, to make words of understanding discernible, to accept wise discipline, righteousness, justice, and fairness. Now, they're telling you what it does, what these Proverbs do for you. Now, it provides simpletons with cleverness, a youth with knowledge and design, that a wise man may hear and increase their learning, and a discerning one may acquire strategies to understand parable and epigram. That's amazing. The words of the wise and their enigmas. And basically, I think what that means is these proverbs are going to benefit everyone, from the unlearned youth to the wisest, most knowledgeable elder. It's a guidebook for life. Isn't that something? That's amazing. Now, we got to go to 99.9 KOIN Koi News Radio. Here we are, Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville. Hope you dig it. There's a Margaritaville almost in every awesome place you can find. That's what I know. This isn't Cheeseburger in Paradise, but it is Margaritaville, and it is kind of an homage to Jimmy Buffett, and may he rest in peace. Stacker out.